The Cold War ended in 1991. But what if I told you another one has already begun, not with nuclear missiles or spy planes, but with technology, trade, and influence? This time is the US versus China, and the battle for global dominance is unfolding right before our eyes. So how is this new Cold War being fought? And more importantly, who will win?
The rise of China is not explained by, that they came up with a genius political system. It's
2 decades ago, China was a rising economy, quietly building its strength. But today, it's challenging US supremacy. In 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization, unlocking a golden era of growth. Back then, its economy was just 10% of the size of the US. Today, it's nearly equal, with a GDP of $17.7 trillion in 2021. The US thought trade with China would make it more democratic. Instead, China became more powerful and the US is pushing back. In 2018, Donald Trump launched a trade war, imposing tariffs on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods.
And US President Donald Trump has kicked off a trade war with one of America's biggest rivals, China.
After taking office in 2025, Trump doubled down, announcing new tariffs on key Chinese industries, including EVs, semiconductors, and solar panels. The goal? Protect American industries and counter China's growing dominance. China responded aggressively, slapping counter tariffs on American agricultural and tech exports, while striking deals with Europe, Latin America, and Africa to minimize reliance on US markets. Now, the US isn't just worried about China's economy, it's worried about China's technology. China's biggest telecom company, Huawei, was accused of global spying. The US forced allies to ban Huawei's 5G networks and is now targeting China's AI and quantum computing industries. And then there's TikTok. The app is widely popular, but the US fears it's a weaponized tool for Chinese surveillance. With over 150 million American users at risk, Congress is pushing for an outright ban on TikTok, while China retaliates by restricting American tech companies inside its borders. But China isn't backing down. It's rapidly developing its own AI, chip technology, and digital currency to reduce its dependence on the US. This isn't just an economic fight, it's about who controls the future of technology. And while America tries to block China, China is taking a different approach, buying the world. China's secret weapon? The Belt and Road Initiative, a $1 trillion project that's building highways, railroads, and ports across Asia, Africa, and Europe. China has already invested over $1 trillion in infrastructure projects worldwide. The plan is simple. China gives poor countries huge loans to build infrastructure, but when they can't pay back, China gains control. The US calls this debt trap diplomacy, but China says it's just business. Meanwhile, cracks in China's influence are emerging. Italy, the only G7 country in BRI, just exited the initiative in 2023, raising doubts about its long-term future. So how is the US responding? The US is strengthening alliances like the AUKUS military pact with the UK and Australia. It's also investing $600 billion into Africa and Asia to counter China's influence. But economic competition isn't the only battlefield. History has shown that economic conflicts can lead to real wars. If the US and China go to war, it won't be over trade or technology, it will be over Taiwan. China considers Taiwan part of its territory, but Taiwan sees itself as independent. The US has vowed to defend it, selling Taiwan $19 billion in weapons just last year. So what happens if China invades Taiwan? Experts warn that it could drag the world into a catastrophic war. And then there's the South China Sea. China has militarized islands claiming territory that isn't theirs. 40% of global trade passes through these waters, making it one of the most contested regions on Earth. The US has sent warships to challenge China's claims. One mistake and this Cold War could turn hot. This isn't just a battle for power, it's a battle for the future. China wants to reshape the world order, while the US is fighting to stay on top. So the big question is, will this remain a Cold War, or is the world heading towards something far more dangerous? What do you think? Will the US stay the global superpower, or is China taking over? Comment below.